You're listening to the Patriot Nation Podcast.
All right, welcome into another edition of the Patriot Nation Podcast. As always, a proud member of the CLNS group of podcasts. Make sure you download and subscribe to all those great shows to get great Patriots content all week long. But tonight, it is the Patriot Nation show with your guy, Pat Lane, here with my man, Matt St. Jean. And tonight we have a very special guest, an incredibly special guest, the co-host of the Catch 22 podcast and a writer at 98.5 The Sports Hub, fighting the good fight on the Felgar Mad show for all of us. It is Alex Barth. Barth, thanks so much for coming through, sir.
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'll be on with them 2 hours tomorrow if people want to tune in, 2 to 4 on
It's pretty
Tuesday.
great. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. I remember, man, I've been having you, I feel like we've been doing shows for quite, like, way back. I feel like 4 or 5 years at least, if not before that. It's kind of cool. It's cool to see so many people that, you know, were kind of where it started out smaller, and then, you know, you see those same people in this market still having success and doing great things. And it's really awesome because, you know, it's a testament to the hard work that you guys put in and how good you are at your jobs. And so it's really nice to see.
I appreciate that. Yeah, no, it's cool to be able, I mean, I'm from here, right? So not having to go to the middle of like when I was coming out of college, it was, you're going to have to go to, you know, market number 300 something and start there and whatever. And I obviously took a different path. And I think that that's a little more doable now, you know, post pandemic, these, you know, some of these networks that are purely online give more opportunities, but yeah, we have been doing this for a while, and it's cool to still be able to do this all these years later.
It's great. That's great.
It's funny to see you and Evan like having your own show on the Patriots official site now after all these years. And it's a great show too. I listen every week.
It's still kind of wild to think about that. You know, we started with CLNS, and CLNS wasn't really covering the Patriots when we started. It was us.
Right.
Yeah. Obviously we've come a long way, and CLNS has come a long way. So
it's cool. Yeah, it's cool. So,
and after all that time, Evan's still not interested in special teams, huh?
No. There's just some things I'm never going to get through to him about. I was trying to text about the Masters on Sunday, and he was just having none of it.
No. Well, you know. Did you see Big Jim's rant at the beginning of the show about Rory, and just like he backed into the victory, and it's not like it used to be, and this and that. I'm like, he's minus 13. Like, that's a decent score for the Masters. Like, I don't know.
It was weird because he completely opened the door. He lost the lead at one point.
100%.
I mean, it was the biggest lead through 2 days in Masters history, right?
Yeah.
And he lost the lead, and he opened the door, and just nobody charged through it. Scotty made a run late. I feel like he kind of felt disinterested until the back nine on Sunday, and then it was too little too late. So, like, Rory held him off, and he regained his lead. He choked it away, and he didn't. Like, it was just kind of this weird tournament where we're so used to seeing somebody go on that run on Sunday, and it was close. You had Rose up there, and, you know, a number of other guys, and just that run never happened.
Yeah.
And so it was a weird tournament. It was a good tournament. It was weird.
What did Cam Young shoot? -8, like on Saturday or something like that? Was it -7?
I would have won my pool if he missed that last putt. So I'm still mad he hit that. That was not an easy putt. Goes into the patrons twice, but then he sinks that putt. Like, thanks, man.
Of course, yeah.
And then you get the side plot with Lee putting into the water. And that whole adventure he went on, which was a fun side plot to everything going on Sunday.
Yeah,
that's my golf experience. That's going to be me this Sunday.
Right.
100%. Yes. Someone was talking about PMT, who I listen to all the time, was talking about, you know, could you shoot a 110 at the Masters just putting? Put us in the furthest part away from the hole on the green, and just putting. Could you shoot a 110? And I'm like, I don't know, man. With the challenge of that, I don't know. You could 4-putt every hole. I feel like you could do it. Well, I guess they were saying it wasn't a 110. That's not incorrect. I forget exactly what they were saying. I think it was par. Could you make par if you were just putting on every hole?
I don't know. I've three putt enough par threes that I don't know.
Maybe.
I don't think so.
You're right. I was gonna say maybe. I don't know.
If you gave me 10 tries at it, I think I could by the 10th start to figure out it enough. But the first try, no way. Because the first like
So
3 holes had 8 putt.
Here's the hypothetical in my group chat.
Yep.
You get $1 million, or
Okay.
you're playing prime Tiger Woods at the Masters. You have to win one hole the whole 4 days. You have to win one hole for $10 million.
No,
I'm just taking the million. I'm not thinking about that.
So the only good argument I've heard for the $10 million is, what is it worth the experience of playing Augusta with Tiger Woods?
That's fair. And you said 4 days.
If you luck into beating him on a hole, great. I would still take the money. I'm not beating him on. I mean, look, I looked at, so 97 was his best tournament, right? I looked this up once. I think there was one par 3 that like he didn't birdie. So you basically have to birdie that hole in 4 tries.
Right.
Anyway,
impossible.
I think we all said we'd take the money.
Yeah, I think I drive like 215. So I'm just not like, I'm not even getting to the green on a par 5 in 5 shots. So it's like,
Yeah, there's a couple of holes in there where I think I'd take my tee shot and be off into the woods or something, and then just pick up my ball and say we can go on to the next one.
But I like that though. That's pretty interesting. I think if you spotted me some, I might consider taking the 10 million, because you're right. Playing Augusta with Tiger Woods would be pretty dope.
Right. I mean, that's quite the experience. And you only have to win one hole in
that's true.
Whatever 18 times 4 is, I don't know. And that many
72.
72,
okay.
Yeah.
I should know that.
That's all right. I'm the math teacher. That's the only reason I know that.
It's been a long day.
So, yep, I agree. All right, let's get into, actually, before we get to the mock draft, what did you think of the New Balance Center?
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It reminded me a little bit of the facility in Vegas. Having seen that when I went out there for the Shrine Bowl, and I mean that complimentary. I mean that's unbelievable. Still, it's not quite as big. Theirs includes like the practice fields too, so that's a little bit like they have a whole indoor thing. The Patriots still have the field house, but it's a nice facility. New, modern, sleek, all of that. They did a good job with it. They did a good job. I can't imagine there's much more that you would be looking for in that sort of facility. Like there wasn't anything that, just kind of getting the gist of it. That's like, oh, why is this like this? Why isn't this here? Do they have this? Like, it's pretty all encompassing. So
yeah,
that's what you hope for in something like that they're not going to have to go external for anything. And, they did a good job with it. They did a very good job with it. Media room's nice too. So, I mean, the place it's the only place I'm going to be in it, but, they did a really, really good job with that.
I like it. Nice. That's great to hear.
Photos.
Yeah, it's great to hear.
Yeah, hopefully, it was a soft open. There's still some like minor stuff going on. Mostly like it looked like that's what I'm looking for. Aesthetic stuff, like it's functioning, but So I'm guessing once they get dot the I's and cross the T's and get all that done, and hang the pictures on the walls and that sort of thing, we'll get some more pictures of it from the team.
Yeah. Makes sense. We got a few people saying hello to Alex in the comments. Patty, I know is a frequent
Patty
listener.
Nagwam.
Yep. All right, let's get into my mock draft released Monday morning on Pats Pulpit. Round 1. The title of it is they start off with a splash. 131, a 2027 4th round pick to Philadelphia for A.J. Brown and a 2027 6th round pick. Patriots love 6th round picks. Love 6th round picks. Would you do this deal?
Let me pull up exactly what it was again. I would. 1 in next year's 4th for A.J. Brown, next year's 6th. I would.
Yeah.
I just, if they were going to do it, I feel like they would have done it. Right. And what comes with the salary cap implications, and by that, I mean the Eagles. It would come with the salary cap implications. Maybe they get to draft night and suddenly the pressure's on and the lights are bright and things change. Like, I'm not going to say no, but wouldn't you kind of like to know what you're working with throughout this whole process if you knew you were probably going to move them? Now, if the Eagles, if the Eagles take Denzel Boston and the Patriots don't take a receiver, we all know what's going on, right? And it's just a matter of it becoming formal. But I just feel like if they're going to do it, they would have done it by now. I will say, like, if you have a sliver of hope, I'm not saying it's wrong to have a sliver of hope it gets done sooner rather than later. I think the draft is the unofficial deadline because you have the draft and then you have that June 1st date. Doing it in between, you don't get the benefit of current picks to help your team now, but you still take that cap hit. So if it's going to happen, it has to happen by Thursday night or next Thursday night, I should say. Like after that, no shot, because that's the worst of both possible outcomes for the Eagles. So if you're holding out any hope, like that's probably what it looks like.
Yeah.
What does it happen? I don't think so, but it's not impossible.
I want to put this out there. Would you rather do that trade that Pat has for A.J. Brown or have done the deal the Eagles just did for Dontavian Wicks?
What'd they give up for Wicks again? Remind me.
Was it a fourth and a sixth?
Yeah, fourth and a sixth.
Okay, I was going to say. They have enough, like, how big's the gap between Kayshon Boutte and Dontavian Wicks?
Not huge.
Right. Like they
maybe non-existent, to be honest with you.
They have enough guys that are just in the middle of the depth chart and are good complementary players. And, you know, just adding more of those guys, you can only put, you want to run 0-0 personnel. You want to run Robert Parrish personnel the whole game. At most, that's 5. I don't want to see him bury Kyle Williams. I want to see him continue to grow. You obviously want to get, Romeo Doubs on the field. Yep. So that's 2 guys right there. And I'm not saying Williams is going to play every play, but like you need that X, that's Boutte or Hollins, and you can only play so many players. So unless it's somebody who definitively, this guy is better, he elevates the offense, like get that guy by all means. Another guy that's like, I will add him in the rotation. There's enough in the rotation. There's plenty in the rotation. They don't need, like, the days of they don't have any NFL caliber wide receivers are gone. They have a representative NFL receiver room. It's just getting one guy to the top of the depth chart to slot everybody down where they probably belong more. So A.J. Brown, I think, is that guy. He might be the only guy like that available. I don't know that any player they can realistically draft is that guy. I don't think Boston's that guy. Concepcion, maybe there's some weird stuff about how he fits. Tyson is that guy. I don't think he's going to fall, but like Brown's that guy. Dontavian Wicks is not that guy. So I'm good on the middle of the depth chart receivers. They have plenty of those guys. Like, figure it out with Kyle Williams before you start giving up more draft picks for Dontavian Wicks.
It would be funny for Doubs also to leave Green Bay and then just to have Wicks follow him and have to do the whole roster shuffle, depth chart shuffle at receiver all over again.
Yeah, it's silly. The only way I see this happening, for me at least, is, you know, somebody drops to 31 that Philadelphia doesn't think is going to be on the board. And the Patriots sitting there at 31 with a guy the Eagles want on the board. And they look at it and say, all right, you know, that's enough to get us to make this deal now. We'll take the salary cap hit because of it, but we like this guy enough. We're going to trade him anyways, right? That second round pick we get next year for it, right? Like, you know, may not be as good as the player we're getting right now.
The only question I would have about that is, aren't they just going to take that guy at 23?
Well, they certainly might.
Are 2 guys worthy of taking on that cap hit going to fall? I mean, you're talking about a really wild, extreme draft, especially in a draft where outside of the top 11 or 12 players, like, I don't think there's a huge gap between the player getting at 15 and the player getting at 35 in this draft.
I think you're probably right. I
kind of think it's one of those things. So you're talking about a really spectacular fall. Now, that kind of fall is predicated by one of 2 things: injuries or off field. You're not talking about a guy that everybody just missed on the talent. Now, the Eagles will take the chance on those. So they are like, if you're hoping for that is a long shot, but if you're hoping for that to happen, the Eagles are one of the few teams you probably want on the other side of it to have a shot at it.
Yeah.
But you're talking about really multiple really talented players falling. And then again, there's a long gap between 23 and 31, and Buffalo will make some wild draft picks. San Francisco will make some wild draft picks. The Chiefs will, like, a lot would have to go. I'm not saying it's impossible, but a lot would have to go right.
I'm with you. I hear that. All right, second round pick. We're not going to go through the whole thing, but second round pick is Danny Denise Sutton. I think it's notable because of what Elliot Wolf said today about speed on the edge. He's a fast guy on the edge. He's also good against the run, but he's a fast guy on the edge. Yep. 39.5-inch vertical, sub 7 3-cone drill. Also blocked 3 punts on special teams this year, which is pretty unbelievable. Yep. Something new that I hadn't realized was there. I'm assuming in the Beast, because of where else would you have read that? And so just really, I like him as a fit. I like him as a player. And I think, makes a lot of sense for the Patriots there.
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I've been high on him throughout this process, and I'm kind of surprised he hasn't gotten more bump. I think his athleticism is being underrated. Definitely has 3-down potential. The thing that hurts him is he was not as good last year. He wasn't playing opposite Abdul Carter last year, so there's was he a product of that? But there's a lot of players like that in this strategy. And pick a defensive player on Clemson. He got dragged down by the program, and I think there was an element at Penn State. I mean, you look what happened with James Franklin. Like, that program suffered, and the production's going to suffer. So I think he can play. I like him. I think he's powerful. I think he's quick. I think he's violent. Sneaky, decent coverage ability for that position. Remember the interception he had in the playoff a couple years ago? Yeah, I like him. I would love for them to end up with him. Like, he's on my short list of the edge guys on day 2. If they don't go edge at the top of the draft, him, Akis, I don't think Lawrence is going to fall, but if they're trading up from 63, maybe. Like, those are kind of my short list edge guys on day 2. So yeah, I'd be really happy if they ended up with the dentist.
I like that. I do think the edge group too, the way this falls in the draft is going to be so interesting. Because like Lawrence is the kind of guy who could be gone before you pick in the first round, or on paper still there when you pick in the second, just depending on how teams view that specific player. I think you see that with a bunch of these edge defenders. But yeah, Denny Sutton's someone I like. I think he's a fit with, like you said, with what they're saying today, with what Wolf's saying today. And I'm just curious how big of a role he would take on in year 1. He's probably your 3rd edge rusher, depending on how he comes on and what Harold Landry is able to give you.
Yeah, I think there's like day 1 starters and there's year 1 starters. I don't know that he's a day 1 starter. I think he's a year 1 starter. And to your point, if Harold Landry looks healthy, it looks good, great. You now have a 3-man rotation and you're off and running. Mm-hmm. And if Harold Landry doesn't look great, you're not going to – hopefully it's not bad enough that you get like 5 snaps in week 1 and go, oh, shoot, like this guy can't play, right? It's a month or 6 weeks in, and then you start to make the transition. So he kind of fits that range where I think he could start and make an impact in year 1, but there is going to be a little bit of a ramp up for him. But they might have the flexibility for that. Wouldn't be ideal, but I think they could handle it.
Right. Yeah. All right. 2 other guys I want to talk about, and that's all. I have the Patriots trading up in the 3rd round to get Travis Burke right now. And I don't know what the consensus is right this second. The consensus board on Mock Draft Database had Travis Burke at 159 on Saturday night. I have them taking him at 90. That's 2 full rounds ahead of where consensus has him right now. To me, that seems like the more realistic spot than 160. Based on the interest that he's seen around the league, based on the buzz that we're hearing about him, I can't imagine he drops all the way to 160.
He's top 80 in the Beast, right?
Yeah, the Beast has him in the 3rd round. So here's the important thing to remember is that a player's grade and a player's projection are not always going to match up. And this is a real great draft to exemplify that. The consensus board is generally pretty accurate, but you also have to remember that the consensus board is going more off of grading than projections. So this is what I call the tackle gap. As things stand right now, Maxi Honachor is 36 on the consensus board. So he's going to go, if not in the 1st round, really early on day 2. The next true tackle, because Jennings, Dunker, and Caleb Tiernan are probably going to play inside at the next level. The next true tackle is Demetrius Crown over at 95. The next true tackle after that is Austin Barber at 119. So you're telling me we're going to go 60 picks without a tackle and only 1 tackle in about 80? Like, there's no way. Now, maybe the talent dictates that, but what's more likely, that we have that big of a tackle gap, or a team says we need a tackle, we don't want to get caught on the back end of a bad class, let's all right, this is probably a round earlier than we should take him, but we think he's the best on the board and we're going to take him, right? That kind of thing. This is exactly what happened in 2024. Caden Wallace, people talked about the Patriots overdrafting Caden Wallace. Caden Wallace was the 11th tackle taken in that class. That was about right for him. But he went 2 rounds earlier than expected because teams started taking tackles and other teams freaked out that they were going to miss. And it's, oh, this guy did. Who's at the top of the board? Whatever, just take one. And that's how that happened. So I totally think that could happen again this year. So to me, it's that group of Crownover, Barber, Bell, Bowery, Isaiah World, Travis Burke. Like 2 or 3 of those guys are going to, those are all projected day 3 picks. At least 2 or 3 of those guys are going to go day 2. It's just a matter of who the league ends up liking. And if you think that's Burke, like, then I think 95 is a very realistic pick. I think Brugler had Burke and Bell as kind of higher than the consensus as maybe those guys that'll push the board up. Isaiah World's going to be an interesting one. He's more of a wild card because he's coming off torn ACL. But no, I think that's like you take any of those guards in any of those tackles, I should say, in the 3rd round for the Patriots. I think it's a realistic pick because is that whole group going to go higher than projected? No, but some of them will.
And all it takes is one team to fall in love with one of those guys to start the run.
That's it. All right, last one we're going to talk about because I know this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
Round 7, pick 247. I have the Patriots taking Brett Thorson from Georgia. He is an Australian rules punter, Australian rules football player, and came from Australia. He's a guy that's like willing to put his body on the line for a tackle. Yeah. I think he ended the 2024 season like with an injury and it was done for the year. But you know, I'm more curious about whether it's him or Stonehouse or the kid from, I can't remember the kid from Michigan State. Who's your favorite punter in the draft?
I mean, I think Thorson's the best punter. I mean, the Australian pipeline is just excellent.
Yeah.
When we're talking about the Patriots, though, Jack Stonehouse, the cousin of former Titans punter under Mike Vrabel, Ryan Stonehouse. So does that mean anything? I don't know. Like, cousins, how close were they? Did Vrabel ever meet him? But like, I don't know. It's something I look at. Those are probably my 2 favorites, Thorson and Stonehouse. Stonehouse obviously kicked indoors in Syracuse, so there's that thing of it. But
right,
those are the top 2 guys for me. I think we'll see 2 or 3 drafted. Eckley's not bad. Tommy Dorman from Florida is not bad. It's just a matter of, do they draft a guy or do they go the UDFA route? If they draft a guy, I think that's it for Behringer.
Yeah.
We saw this last year where who was the better kicker in training camp? Probably wasn't Borgalis, but it was close enough, and he was a draft pick. There you go. You know, if they sign a UDFA, then I think it's more of a legit competition.
Agreed.
On that note, while we're talking special teams, they brought in a long snapper. They signed someone. Do you think that's another body for camp? Do you think there's going to be a competition? Do you think that we might have a new starter week 1?
So I think that's a couple of things. First of all, a lot of teams carry 2 long snappers in training camp because you're not going to keep an extra long snapper, but you want somebody just in case who's familiar with your kicker and your punter. They did this with Tucker Addington for years. Tucker Addington would randomly show up for a couple days, whether it was in training camp, whether it was during the season, and then they'd cut him. And then so he's on, I think, the Texans now. So they can't do that with Tucker Addington. So there might be some of that. Just 90 players is a lot more than people realize.
Yeah.
The other thing is, so Nico Lalos, who we're talking about, actually entered the NFL as a defensive end and played it for a few years and was a guy that got some buzz in some camps. And then he goes, I think it was the Saints, and they turned him into a long snapper, and he took some weight off. But I saw he was listed with the weight back on. I'm not entirely convinced that they're not going to try him as an edge rusher and try to tap back into that. And maybe he does some long snapping too, but he profiles as the kind of edge rusher that they like when he played that a couple of years ago. It's been a bit. But I'll be interested to see if we get out there for OTAs and he's working with the edge rushers.
That'd be so awesome. I would love that so much. They signed a guy to be a long snapper and he's actually an edge rusher. Like, that's fantastic.
That'd be nice. A nice get there.
I love it.
Yeah, he'll be one to watch.
There you go. All right, let's so if you want to check out the rest of the mock, I think it's a pretty good one. It's my fifth mock on Pats Pulpit. Check it out. And you can leave a comment and tell us that we're stupid for thinking that the Patriots should draft a punter or whatever you want to do. But nevertheless, I So, anyways, so let's do our ad read, and then we'll do a live 7-round mock with everyone in here. The playoff push is heating up and tournament hoops are here, and there's no better way to cash in, if you're right, on the high-flying hoops action than PrizePicks, America's #1 sports app. Every bucket, every dime, and every win means more when you're playing on PrizePicks. And with their brand new Teams Picks market, you can now pick game winners, spreads, and totals on top of the player picks you already know. So cash in, if you're right, during all the clutch buckets, slam dunks, and Cinderellas this spring with Team Picks on PrizePicks. What are you going to do? Download the PrizePicks app today and pick your first game winner, spread, or total as the playoff push rolls on. And you're going to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup when you use the code CLNS. Again, that's code CLNS on PrizePicks to get $50 in daily fantasy lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. PrizePicks Predict is a registered FCM offering team picks and culture picks as event contracts. Trading involves significant risk, not for all. The content provided is for informational and educational purposes only and does not constitute investment advice, a recommendation to trade any commodity interest, or offer to open an account. CLNS is not registered with the CFTC or NFA. PrizePicks Predict does not endorse or guarantee any statements made by third-party promoters or influencers. Please consult with a qualified professional before making any trading decisions. All right, here we are. So 7-round mock draft on PFF. Are we doing the consensus board, Matt?
There's the PFF big board. Is it still here? There's a consensus from 4-9 that looks popular. I'm down for that.
You okay with that, Alex?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
We'll enter this draft. I'm going to go ahead and assume we're not. Are we trading up, or do we just want to sim right to 31?
Just let it go to 31.
Yeah, I'd say go to 31.
All right. Let's see how this goes. Malachi Lawrence not on the board. That's someone we talked about there. Blake Miller has already gone. Casey Concepcion gone. Jordan Tyson gone. Manuel McNeil Warren to the Cowboys at 20 would be an interesting one.
Love him.
Yeah. All right, let's see. The best on the board according to this, we got Omar Cooper, we got Peter Woods, Denzel Boston, Cassius Howell, Maxi Iheanacho, or Zion Young. We could do the guard conversation if you want. Emmanuel Pregnano, that has heated up recently. Alex, what are you thinking?
Who's calling? What about moving down? There's a couple decent options on the board that I think we can move down a couple spots.
We got the Texans at 38.
That's not too far. How about the Cardinals?
Let's see if the Cardinals are interested. 31, 34. They're not interested in trading for this pick. We could force a trade if we want, but
so it says that if they're not calling, but sometimes you can do it. All right, hang on. I have this theory. Go to the Raiders. I have this theory the Raiders are going to trade up for a tackle.
Ooh.
In the end of the first round.
Let's see. Yeah, this is
call it like 36, 102, and a future third.
They are not. It says they're not interested in trading.
What anyways. Let's see what happens.
It. Yeah.
Not
okay. Take. Why
don't you make the third?
102 or the future third off.
I was gonna say maybe take the third off.
There we go.
Ah, look at that.
All right. They're able to move back immediately. This feels like the Patriots of old if we're waiting up till the very end of the first round and then immediately finding out that they're trading back.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump ahead here. All right. Maxi and Iheanacho are still on the board. That is where my eyes immediately go.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this point you kind of have to go there. Who's there for edge rushers?
Zion Young is here. R. Mason Thomas, who they met with, is here.
Is Malachi Lawrence still here?
No, he went at 29.
Oh, he did. I think it's Iheanacho here. I mean, talked about like in the lines of scrimmage. Wolf also talked about this draft being about more than just 2026 and kind of projecting ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that's the pick, especially if you can get him this late. Now, in my theory, this is who the Raiders were trading up. Who'd the Raiders end up taking?
Cassius Howell.
Okay, that makes no sense.
No sense at all.
And like, so do we trade for Max Crosby now? Like,
Howell makes sense if they're going to move on from Max Crosby.
Right. Maybe Denzel Boston was on the board, could make sense. Like, my theory is they're going to move up. They got some extra picks. They're going to move up to try to help Fernando Mendoza. So maybe a wide receiver would make sense there too.
I'm
But I would go Ihanachor here.
I'm curious, Alex, about your thoughts on maybe not a guard in the first round, but a guard fairly early on. I don't know what you think about it. We got Michael Onwenu coming into the final year of his deal. Are they going to pay him a huge contract? They're going to give, sounds like at least, they're going to give Christian Gonzalez a huge contract. They're going to give Drake May a huge contract at the end of next year. They already have given Milton Williams a huge contract. Christian Barmore's under contract. So, there's only so much money to go around, right? Do they want to restart that at guard? I love Emmanuel Pregnon. I just feel like Pregnon is going to be a multi-year All-Pro. I just feel like I just feel the way he plays, that's going to, he's going to be an all-pro guard. If you move down in a situation like this and you can get, say, a third-round pick for Mike Onwenu, do you move on from Mike Onwenu and draft Pregnon in this spot?
Yeah, maybe I don't love the idea of moving on from Mike Onwenu. We just did a career year. You're trying to build some stability on your offensive line, but there's also, to your point, I don't think Mike Onwenu is going to be here past this year. I don't think he's going to get another contract. Just based on where they're at with some of the guys they have to pay. He's going to be 30 years old. You got to pay the corner, you got to pay the quarterback. You might pay a left tackle in a couple of years, right? If right. Campbell keeps trending upwards. I don't love doing it right now, but it's the old Belichick moving on a year too early versus a year too late. And you're getting something for him instead of leaving in free agency. Now, if they just take a guard on day 3, I don't love doing that.
Right.
If they're really convinced that that's the move, then yeah, you kind of have to take a guard high. And whether that's Pregnon here, whether that's Keelan Rutledge, maybe, moving up from 63 or maybe he falls to 63, there's an argument for it. I think that you need to have the guy before you do it. And then again, you trade Mike Onwenu during the draft. You wait until camp and kind of see how things play out.
Because I think the other factor here is that when you don't know what you have in Jared Wilson right now at center, and the fact that Alijah Vera-Tucker has been so injury prone, do you want to trade the guy who's the best player on your offensive line last year, insert a rookie in that spot, and then have a worse line next year?
You have to have a ton of conviction in the guy you're taking. It really, to me, comes down to what are they more focused on right now? The 1-year outlook or the 5-year outlook? Or you can even call it 3 years, right? The 1-year outlook is you keep Mike Onwenu and you build on what you started on the offensive line last year and you keep trending that direction. The 3 to 5 year window, the move is to move on from Mike Onwenu.
Yeah.
But again, you're not going to do that without taking a guard in the top 100. So I really like Pregnon. I really like Rutledge too. I don't think there's a big gap. And if you can get, and we added 102, do we move back up to make sure we get Rutledge or Basantis another good guard? And also, since we're suddenly doing top 100 guards, which I get why we're doing it, and I see Pregnon here and Rutledge there, people are talking about, can we get Jennings Dunker back? I was so ready to talk Jennings Dunker.
Yes.
Cycle, and it didn't look like it was going to work out for a while, and now we're back. So I really like Pregnon. I do. He's so violent, nasty, powerful. I also feel like there's other guards I feel good about. And if you can get a player like Maxi Ihanachor here, then grabbing one of those guards a little later on, I'd still feel pretty good about. So I don't think it's unrealistic in theory. If Maxi Ihanachor wasn't here, I think there's a much stronger case for it. What I would say is, can we take Ihanachor and then, trade up? I don't know how you guys feel about Rutledge and Dunker. If we can get one at 63, great. And then we trade up from 95. Or if you don't think we can get one at 63, moving up from 63 and then getting a guard, I don't know, like in the mid 50. To late 50s. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just doing the math. It looks like if you took that extra pick that we got and packaged it with 63, we could get up to about pick 50, which if we want to do that, I think we have to make that trade now.
Yeah, why don't we let's do that right now.
But I would say this too. You can also trade 125 and one of the 6 to get up to 55.
Yeah, so let's
keep that fringe top 100.
Why don't we do that? Let's Matt, if you can go to the trade, let's try to get to.
Before you do that, I'll say this too.
Yes.
95, 125, and one of the 6 gets you up to 79. So this is a really interesting thing for me in this draft. Call it package the extra 4th, the extra 6th, and where you're picking, right? You do that in the first round, you're going to get up 2 or 3 spots. You do that in the second round, you're going to get up 5 or 6. You do that in the third round, you get up 10 to 12. Where's the value in that? I love the idea of moving up from 95. I think this draft drops off right around pick 80. If you can get into the end of that run, that's where I personally like.
So then you want to wait until round 3?
So again, my question to you is, how confident are you we can get a guard at 63? That's the deciding factor.
I'm okay letting the board fall the way it does and seeing where we are.
I also could you imagine for a second that the New England Patriots are drafting on draft night. First of all, Thursday night, don't draft anyone. Yep. Then Friday night starts with a tackle and then a guard.
You know what? I actually think there's a section of the fan base that would love it. I've heard
of course the ones that know ball. Yes.
Look at the Super Bowl. You got to, yes and no. I've seen people like, you got to just keep drafting, just draft offensive linemen because you can only play 5 guys. Like you don't want to drafting a guy that's not going to play doesn't help you outside of Iheanacho and the pipeline thing. But yeah, no, it would be. You can't say they're not committed to protecting Drake May.
Right. Sure. All right, let's take a home show here and see what happens at 63.
All right. I think we're going to be able to get one of the guards. Make sure you check the tackle tab too.
Look at that. The first 2 guys on the list.
Rutledge and Dunker. Have a fun little debate here. And Caleb Tiernan's there too. Tiernan's not a bad option either, frankly.
Yeah. So you could do a small trade back here if you wanted to really stock some picks. I'll just throw other interesting non-guard names: Malachi Fields and Antonio Williams at wide receiver, Max Clare at tight end, Romello Height at edge defender, who they brought in for a top 30, Davison Igbinosun at corner, Ted Hurst, Kai Lewis. I know there's a lot of fans of those guys.
You missed one.
Brayson Halton. Who am I missing?
What's the other weird position we've heard them maybe sniffing around in the top 100? Come on, you guys know this. No. Trenches. Nose tackle.
Oh, nose tackle, right.
Yeah.
Oh, would you miss
McDonald Orange in the first round. Big citrus, Dominique Orange. Love him. Great. Honestly, reminds me a lot of Kairos Tonga. Now, do you want to take the Kairos Tonga replacement this high? Is a fair question. But he's a run-stopping defensive tackle, plays with great motor. He's going to give you a little bit in the pass rush and let you play. He can kind of play in those tweener situations, 2nd and 5, 3rd and 3. And so this is where I'm like, okay, the board fell to us at 63. We can take one of these guards, and then you move up. And I don't know if we're going to be able to move up high enough to get Dominique Orange, but like we could try. And then you go Iheanacho, starting guard, Dominique Orange. Still don't have the edge rusher, fair, but like you've really beefed up the trenches, and we still have 102.
Well, if we're gonna move up from 95 as well, you're just looking the way the board falls. Like if we don't get someone like Orange, I like the receivers here. Romello Height is someone they've been interested in. I think you've got some good consolation prizes. So
Kieran Crawford too, who they met with today.
Yep.
So who do you guys like more, Rutledge or Dunker?
Matt, what do you think?
I think I like Rutledge, but I think I'm going to get outvoted on Dunker here.
Jennings Dunker, I just before the Senior Bowl, I was so excited about him. I was watching film and I'm like, this guy is awesome. He's just awesome. He plays with a nasty streak. I love everything about the way the kid plays. Then he showed up to the scene, and I was like, this is great. We're going to get him. I actually, in my mock 1.0, I had them taking him at 31 overall. But I was like, I just love the way this kid plays. And I was like, stick him at left guard next to Will Campbell. They're similar guys. They play with that mean, nasty streak. And now it does seem like he's going to be a guard. I love what he brings to the table. And I get that people that like Keelan Rutledge as well. I'm a fan of Jennings Dunker.
The positives are kind of the same, right? Like the physical, nasty, powerful style. There's also the thing you mentioned, right guard and left guard. Vera Tucker has played on the right side too. So if you like one of these guys better on the left side, you could put Vera Tucker on the right if you're moving on from Mike Onwenu, and there's that flexibility. As much as I like Jennings Dunker, I'd probably go Keelan Rutledge here. I didn't think he was going to fall just because I think they're kind of similar. Mm-hmm. But one guy is dealing with the position change, and I'm generally more wary of that than most. So one guy already plays the position, and another guy you're going to have to teach to play the position. And even if you think you can do it, give me the guy that can already play the position that's proven he can do it.
Yeah, with you. All right.
I have a trade loaded up here, by the way, that we could offer
Yeah.
if we want to look at moving up 95 and 125 to get up to 78 with the Colts, which I can offer as a starting point. I'm also going to just non-Patriots note. This mock has Zachariah Branch going to the Rams. I don't know if that would happen, but that is a fascinating possibility.
They had what's his name?
So fast.
Another Tutu Atwell.
I was
Yep,
going to say
he's
Tutu
Atwell.
Atwell, Tavon Austin, like he's that obviously different, different regime, but nevertheless,
Yeah.
No, Tutu Atwell played there with McVay, didn't he?
No, I'm talking about Tavon Austin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But same mold. That'd be
Yeah.
fascinating to see him in that offense. And McVay seems to love these guys. All right, let me offer this trade first.
Yeah, this is a good trade. If this doesn't work too, you could do like a 6-7 swap on the back end of it.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Oh,
Well done, sir. Well done.
All right, Rutledge.
All right, Rutledge it is. I'm so sad to see James Dunker not go here, but that's okay.
All right,
Do that on the next one. It's the beautiful thing. There's always more mock drafts.
Oh,
That's very true. That's very true.
Big Orange. Is
We just
staying
missed
us.
Orange. All right.
We'll play Miami there.
And now we probably should go edge and maybe we look more like 102 defensive tackle. I also really like, and he's kind of weird. Built like a, what's his name from Florida State?
Daryl Jackson.
Daryl Jackson. It's like not built like a nose tackle, but he plays like a nose tackle. He's very lean and long. For edge rusher, is Kieran Crawford still here?
Let's find out.
Yep.
He is.
Yeah. So I mean, they met with Crawford. Really smart football player. Has the speed that Elliott Wolf was talking about. I could if this is where they take an edge, and maybe it's in a double up. He would make sense here.
And they have Barham too, Jason Barham.
I like Barham a lot.
Yeah, Barham would be another good one.
Do you have a preference between those two?
I think Crawford is the higher ceiling, and at this point, I lean ceiling. But
Okay.
Barham's versatility is definitely intriguing. It's kind of a what are you trying to do with the pick thing. I like overall out of 100, they're kind of similar to me, but it's different endpoints.
Speaking of ceiling, Crawford's teammate is getting a ton of buzz. What do you think of Keldrick Falk? 20 years old, production's kind of up and down. Like, how do you feel about him? And it seems like they'd have to take him at 31 if he even gets there. But do you think that the buzz is warranted with him?
For the Patriots or just in general?
Just in general, but I'm curious about the Patriots, from a Patriots slant as well.
I think he's probably closer to that group we've been talking about with Parker and Hal. I mean, I think he's the best of that group. I don't know if Mesidor's passed him yet in the consensus. I would probably do that. I was a little too low on Mesidor when I was mocking to the Patriots at 31. I thought teams would care more about his age than they ultimately did. And I think it probably helped that he, came in at 265 instead of 280 where some places had him. But no, I mean, Fox, he's a first round pick. The buzz has kind of been different for me in different places, so it's tough to go off of it. But I'd be surprised if he was there for the Patriots. I think he should go after Mesidor, but you're gonna have a couple guys go top 10. Mesidor is probably the guy who goes in like the 15-18 range, and Fox like the early 20s.
Early 20s, yeah, that makes sense.
The only other name I want to throw out here is Oscar Delp, who also met with the Patriots. Could you see them pulling the trigger on a tight end at this point, especially with a couple edge rushers we like still on the board and another pick at 102?
Man, I got ripped for this. I've said I would take. There are scenarios where I would take Oscar Delp at 63. I like him that much. In this draft where it's trenches, that would be kind of a weird pivot, especially when they don't have the edge rusher yet. There is a path where they take him here. Absolutely. I could see them taking him here. I don't think this scenarios where it makes the most sense.
Fair enough.
You can sell me on Oscar Delp at any point. Like, you're going to be able to sell me on I think you can play.
All right, so
Gunnar Stockton owes him a lot of money for how much he cost in the draft position.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. All right. Are we going to do Kieran Crawford with this pick then? I think that's where we're landing.
Yeah.
Crawford it is. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's see what we get for tight end and defensive tackle here at 102.
Oh, look at that. Oscar
Delp.
Delp sitting right there.
Caleb Proctor.
Oh, I love him.
Some fans. Yeah, the way this board looks, I think you're just kind of running to the podium.
Yeah, that's
Delp,
Oscar
right?
Delp. Frankly, I'd be a little annoyed if they didn't trade up for him at this point.
Yeah.
It was still 3-6. Like, go back into the end of day 3 and get him. But yeah.
Yeah.
His ADP is so low, it's crazy.
I know, it's ridiculous. Like PFF, he's so broken in their system.
Yeah, there's always
I
one
did
or
one
two of
with
those
Brian
guys.
where he was on the board at like 198.
We've had a
His
couple of
ADP is
those.
200, so there you go.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we do like a respect the board thing where we're just like,
Right.
we
You're like,
don't
you
do
can't take
Yeah.
that guy. It's crazy.
I think this is about the last. Like, this is the end of the reasonable Delp could go here.
Yeah,
In
this
general.
is the
Right.
basement. This
Well,
is teams are still worried about his foot and that kind of
Well, and
thing.
especially because when you get into day 3 too, there's like that reset where you're looking at everyone gets to look at the board overnight and go, man,
Right.
that guy's still there. Like, we just got to take him.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Delp at 102. And then
And so we talked about Proctor before that pick. There's like a group of those defensive linemen that I love. And they're very similar, but it's like Proctor, it's Landon Robinson, Albert Regis kind of fits in that spot. Like there's a bunch of those guys that are like these smaller attacking
Yeah.
defensive linemen that I
Conan
just feel
Diem.
like
From A&M's another good one.
yes. And so like, and I feel like that fits what the Patriots want to do. Now they're missing that big, huge defensive, that nose tackle type player. But I love, a fit of a guy like Proctor or Landon Robinson or someone like that, in that spot for them too.
Well, let me ask you, who's here for defensive tackles? Did Corleone fall? Corleone's a weird one. Like he's around here on the consensus. Brugler has him in the 7th round, which
interesting.
my guess, yeah, okay, he's gone. My guess is Brugler's hearing teams are worried about something non-football. And with Corleone, he missed time in 2024 due to blood clots.
Oh.
Now, maybe this is me looking too far into it. The Patriots, one would think, are maybe a little more prepared to take on that kind of situation because they know what comes with it. David Andrews a few years ago, Christian Barmore. Now, they may also know more about it and look at it and say, this is not worth deal. Like, we know we've been down this road. We don't want to deal with it. But it's fascinating for me. Corleone's a true nose tackle. Like, he's not going to give you a lick against the pass, but you're not moving him in the run game at all. But he's not here. So you can see what else is on the board.
Top guy on the board was Drew Aller. If we wanted to
Hard pass.
yeah.
I cannot believe he seemed like the guy that was going to get the total fake top 100 hype. And I was so ready to do victory laps and bring out the stat about him being 0-6 against Michigan, Oregon, and Ohio State. But people have not fallen for it yet. So good for them.
It's the who's Hackenberg. It's like Hackenberg 2. I could not believe when Hackenberg went as high as he did back in the day.
I think he's the highest drafted quarterback to never start a game. There's some stat
that makes
like
sense.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be a Jets thing to happen, so I believe it on.
Right. I mean, somebody has to have that, right? And you'd figure it's a Jets. It should be a Jets pick.
Yeah.
We already took a tackle, but Markel Bell is up here if you wanted to just keep investing in the trenches and make sure you got depth.
It's not a bad idea. I kind of like, as you scroll here, VJ Payne from Kansas State.
He has been a frequent in our mocks.
Has he? Okay, you guys know ball. This is a little early for him, but Elliot Wolf said today it's not a great secondary class. That can mean one of two things. It can mean we're going to bypass it, or there's only a couple players we like, and we might have to reach on one so we don't miss out. They need a safety.
They do.
Like they can't. I don't think they can.
Too.
Right, he's great fit. I don't think they can skip it. Do they go to the veteran market? They need a corner too. Corner, it might be easier to go to the veteran market and just find a third guy. Safety, you're trying to get somebody who's eventually going to step in to the role that Kevin Byard's in. And I think VJ Payne could do that. It drops off steeply after him. He's like the last guy that I think can maybe do that. I really like Jacoby Thomas. That's a different role. Yeah. So I wouldn't hate VJ Payne here.
We mentioned corner, the two guys, interesting, Ephesians Prysock and Charles Demings. This would be a little bit of a reach here, but not a massive reach. I like Demings a lot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if this is early for him.
Yeah, I think
it is. But again, if Wolf is going to say this is a weaker secondary class, you look at it through that lens of does that can mean they're more likely to reach because it can mean there's fewer guys they like and they know they need to get aggressive.
Right. And that's exactly kind of what it comes down to is if you need a guy in that spot and you feel like we need a guy in the secondary, all right, well, we're going to go out and get the guy that we want, right? It doesn't matter what the consensus board says. We're here in the 4th round already. Like we've made a few picks already. We're looking at it saying, no, we don't care. Like we got to go out and get the guy that we want. And so whether that's Demings, whether that's Payne, or whomever it is, we got to make that pick. And, consensus be damned. Like we're drafting the guy that we need, because if we don't take a guy now, to your point with Payne, like you don't take a safety now. It's like, you're not taking a safety, because there's no point in drafting a safety in the 6th round, because those guys stink, so it's just like, you're just not going to get a guy this year.
I think I'm down with Payne as the pick here.
Yeah, I'd go Payne.
Yeah. And that leaves us all the way down to 171.
Drew Allen's still there.
We got Ian Achor, we got Keelan Rutledge, Kieran Crawford, Oscar Delp, and VJ Payne so far.
I like it. I like it so far.
That's pretty good. I actually wouldn't hate that. It would be weird, but I wouldn't hate it.
Yeah. Let's see. Dallin Bentley at tight end is interesting. Oh, we could Drew Aller and Cade Klubnik both being here kills me, because they feel like that's the same genre right there.
Yeah.
What about doubling up at edge here? Since we kind of waited to take a guy at the top, this is just starting to get into George Gums territory, who they met with.
I like Gums.
Nnamdi Tucker is a guy that was on my mock draft today that I released that we didn't talk about. He's an older prospect. Had a ridiculous year this year at Western Kentucky. Now, it was Western Kentucky, so like I maybe take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
But the production he put up this year was outrageous. And so, I curious about, maybe it worked, maybe it doesn't, who knows, but I like him, I like him. I actually like the guy I like better a little bit later is actually Keyshawn James Newby from New Mexico. He's a guy that was like ridiculous lower and then bumped up to New Mexico and just put on an absolute show this year. And if you look at the metrics about the testing versus the production, he's like, top right with a bunch of the, with a bunch of the high edge draft picks. And again, he played at New Mexico, so he's playing against like nobodies. But I still like, the look of that when I'm like, oh, okay, he's got the athletic tools. Maybe that translates,
Yeah, the other thing I'd say here is linebacker. We heard Elliot Wolf say they like the day 3 linebacker class. So, so much for Kyle Lewis, but maybe Harold Perkins or Jimmy Rolder or Aiden Fisher.
Mm-hmm.
One of those guys is still here.
Yeah, Rolder's here.
Lander Barton is someone I've taken in a few mocks.
Yeah. The more I watch Rolder, the more I like. He's just like, it's all very clean. He doesn't go out of his way to make a ton of plays. He's not going to create a lot, but he does everything you need him to do. Like he doesn't miss. You don't go, oh, he's out of position. Oh, he missed a tackle. He doesn't make mistakes. And at this range in the draft and getting a guy like that at linebacker in this system, I like that potential. Now, somebody sent me one. I did my mock draft mailbag on 98.5 where they paired Rolder and Harold Perkins, and those were back-to-back picks. And I was like, that's awesome because we're going to let this guy play shot out of a cannon, and then whatever plays he doesn't make, the other guy's going to clean it up. But I like Rolder in their system and gives you maybe I don't know for sure you can say you have the next guy after Robert Spillane, but I don't know. I think he has a shot at it.
Oh, 1 year starter, right?
At this point in the draft, I'll take that shot.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to convince me to take a Michigan guy. Go Blue Baby. So,
yeah, he's a 1 year starter, and really played well. I thought this season, and so like that didn't look like a 1 year starter. Is basically what I'm saying there. I like the idea. He was another guy that was in my mock on Monday, or I guess this morning on Pats Pulpit. Let's do Rolder. I'm cool with that. As long as you go with that, man.
Tackle rate. Yeah. That's always a great sign right there.
Yeah,
man. Aller and Klubnik.
They just desperately want us to take Drew Aller.
CJ Daniels going off the board at 190. He'd be.
Oh, is Gums still there? I like CJ Daniels.
Yeah, I don't think Gums is here.
I don't know. There weren't that many picks in between our two picks.
No, there he is. He went to the
Chiefs
Chiefs
at 176.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. Let's see.
I like Devin Marshall.
I like Will Kasmerick at tight end if you wanted to double up there. You like Daquan Wright, right, Alex?
I do. I like Daquan Wright. Catch and run guy. Could also start talking about a running back.
Yep.
Le'Veon Moss. Interesting when healthy.
Yeah. Adam Randall would be in this range.
I think Randall's gone. I think.
Oh, is he going at this point now on these?
Yeah, Randall actually just went to Seattle. That'd be an interesting fit.
Yeah. Matt, can you scroll down a little bit? Because there was someone I saw, but then you like keep going.
What about Trey Moore? You like you what's his name from Michigan, who we talked about before? It's been, I don't know. I can't pull these names. It's been a long day. Barham, Jayshon Barham. Trey Moore is kind of like the day 3 version of Jayshon Barham. Tweener, edge, off-ball linebacker, good bursts. You know, would give you some depth at multiple spots here. Is definitely going to play in the kicking game. Jacoby Thomas is still there. That's one of my guys. Have you seen the video of him talking about why he likes hitting people?
No.
There's a great video before one of the bowl games. If you look up Jacoby Thomas on Twitter, it's like the 3rd or 4th thing that comes up. He's talking about how hitting is a lost art, and he knows that if he hits a guy enough, that guy will fold, and he enjoys that. And he's like, I'll go to war with you in the parking lot right now. Like that. He's so old school. He's boys with Ed Reed.
Oh boy.
And he forced a ton of turnovers. He forced a ton of turnovers too. So like he's aggressive and that burns him at times, but he's an old school playmaking safety. They don't make a lot of guys like him anymore. There's you see it on tape. Like there's a play when they played Ohio State where Carnell Tate, top 10 pick, Carnell Tate runs a slant and he sees Jacoby Thomas and he pulls up. Like he's visibly afraid of going over the middle on Jacoby Thomas. And by the way, he only had, I think, 1 or 2 penalties last year. So he does this in control. Like he's in control of all of this. Like I saw that and I'm like, hell yeah. Like find a spot for that guy on the team.
I don't hate that.
I'm in. Listen, you've convinced me on both Jacoby Thomas and Trey Moore, so I would be okay with either of those guys. Inez Cooper's a guy I like, but we've taken a guard already, so like we don't need another guard.
The only other name I would throw out here is Domani Jackson, just for upside at corner if you want to try to get someone in the pipeline as an outside corner. But it sounds like, especially the way you talk about Thomas, he could probably be a dime safety too, and someone who's able to add some physicality to your defense and get on the field in some of these situations.
I guess the only thing for me, I forgot we took Payne. Like doubling up at safety feels like a stretch. What about what you were saying at corner? How do you feel about Devin Marshall?
I like Marshall, yeah.
Is he a slot guy? I'm trying to remember. So
he's weird. So he's a physical outside corner, physical outside man corner. They're prototype.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 5'10", 188. And usually those guys move inside. He probably doesn't have the quickness to do it. So he's somebody you're looking at as, can he play bigger than his size on the outside in the NFL? Like the ceiling you're looking at is, I don't think it's like a great comp, but sort of the prototype is Malcolm Butler, where Malcolm Butler played on the outside under 6 feet, and he was tenacious, and that's why it worked. I think Devin Marshall has that mental makeup, and he's strong enough. It's just, can he hang with the speed of NFL receiver? Like, you're not going to put him on like a Tyreek Hill, but you'll put him on like a 6'2" or 6'3" bully ball receiver because he plays bigger than he does.
I actually love Paperwave says that Marshall's a Jack Jones, but instead of INTs is pass breakups.
Yeah, that's not. I think he's a little smaller, but that's not a bad. That's not a bad call.
Led the NCAA. I think he's 16 pass breakups last year.
Look, I think he's going to be a hell of a special teams player.
Yeah.
Too. So you get. I mean, at this point in the draft, that's not nothing.
You're putting the sell on me. Too. I like him.
Let's do it. And I think he's from. Is he not from? He's from around here too. Is he not?
No, not Mansfield. That's TJ Guy.
He's
from around Boston.
He was at the Patriots.
He's at the local.
He's at the local pro day, right?
Yeah, and he was at Villanova before he was at NC State.
Right. That's right.
Pick 198. Don't get too excited. Cade Klubnik still available.
Well, you probably talk quarterback at some point, but
not him.
No. I guess here's the question. With a guy like Klubnik, who is highly touted and then it never came together, how far does he need to fall where you just say, screw it, we're going to pick him and see if we can fix it? Or is that something that never enters your brain?
Not when you have a quarterback like Drake May. If it was the Mac, and I'm not saying they're worried about like Cade Klubnik pulling a Zappy fever, but yeah, because the point of taking a guy like that is you're going to try to have him ball out in the preseason and then flip him for a higher pick than you took him with, right? To Joe Milton.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's fallen this far, that kind of tells you what the rest of the league thinks about him, and he might not be that easy to flip. So for the Patriots specifically, I 247, I guess at that point. What the hell?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're not in that range yet.
No.
Jacoby Thomas still on the board. We have 2 tight ends that we like in Kaczmarek and Daquan Wright. Albert Regis, I know you're a fan, Pat.
Yep.
Roman Hemby at running back.
They
and
did
Le'Veon
meet
Moss.
with Hemby.
They met with Hemby. I actually didn't see that.
Or was it Kalen Black?
No, it was Black that they met with.
Black. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he's probably on the board too. They're both kind of in this range.
I think he went first. He typically goes first in the mocks. Yeah.
There are some backs here I like. I like Jam Miller, and he's another guy that's probably going to play on special teams. Chip Trainum is a wrecking ball goal line back, like pure old school goal line back. CJ Donaldson is a unique makeup. He's a former tight end. And then the guy from Virginia Tech, Terrion Stewart, who's kind of built like Mike Tolbert.
Yeah.
5'6", 220
He's a
something.
monster, yeah.
He's not quite. Tolbert was 250. It's an undersell, but
Right, but still,
there's some fun backs here. I mean, we probably wait, but there are some fun backs.
I love Desmond Reed just because he's like 5'5", like 165 pounds.
Undersized pit.
Dion Lewis.
Back. Yeah, I mean that's
100%.
so easy. I'm surprised he's not projected to be drafted more. I know why he's a late day 3 pick. I'm seeing him as a UDFA in a lot of places. That playmaking ability. My brother went to Pitt, so I watch more Pitt football than I probably should. But yeah, he's electric. He's just got to stay healthy, and I don't know if he's going to stay healthy. But he's electric. It's Dion, like all the pros and cons of Dion Lewis.
Right. Yeah.
That's I definitely feel like we can wait at least one more pick. I can see what happens here. Although,
our next pick is 5 picks away. So
yeah, it's right there. I think who else is interesting. We already took a tight end, so we don't necessarily need to double dip. But like Kaczmarek,
we never took a defensive tackle, did we?
No. I love.
You said you like Regis.
I do. I'm a big fan of Albert Regis. He's a guy that he's a good player in the middle. He's also one of those guys he won their community service award in 2024. He's like a not all American, but like all scholastic. Like he's one of those guys that he's just seems like he would be a very positive guy in the locker room as well. Like a Patriots cultural fit. You know what I mean?
So go Regis, and then I have an idea for the next pick.
What's the
if he falls? Logan Taylor from BC, a guy that is a potential. So he's a potential 4-position backup. Yes. There's real value. Now, he's a little redundant.
He knows the offense.
Right. He's a little redundant to Ben Brown. That's actually my comp for him is Ben Brown.
Yeah.
And the idea that is he your best backup guard? Maybe not. Is he your best backup tackle? Maybe not. Is he your best backup center? Maybe not. Is he 80% at all 3 positions, and now you get to keep him instead of 3 different guys? Yes. The league loves those guys. And as we said earlier, this team should probably keep some extra interior depth. Elijah Vera Tucker's injury history. Jared Wilson's never played center at the NFL level. We're moving on from Michael Onwenu here, even if we don't trade him during this draft. So, there's a rookie on the other spot. I'd rather they carry an extra offensive lineman or 2 this year, and maybe they can be thinner at some other spots. Whether it's, maybe they end up thinner in the secondary because they just don't like this draft and it's okay. So we're just going to carry less guys. So Logan Taylor's versatility to me is very valuable. I wonder if he makes it this far, but it would be a great spot to pick a guy like that just, hey, he's going to probably save you a roster spot somewhere else. Maybe not this year, but down the line because of all the different things he can do.
And then I think you pair that with the fact that he's played with Bill O'Brien, so in theory it should be a higher floor, and he's not gonna fail out because he doesn't know what's going on.
Right. Well, not just Bill O'Brien, Doug Marrone too.
Yeah.
True. Yeah. All right, Logan Taylor.
All right.
Go to, and then I think it's just 240. Oh, we have 212 as well.
212. Yeah, 212 and 240.
All right. Is this a quarterback pick?
Who do we got for those running backs? Or do we do running back at 247?
I'm down to do running back here.
Who do you like?
Yeah.
You said which is Chip Trainum the goal line back?
Yeah, Chip Trainum's a goal line. But I'll be honest, part of the reason I want them to take him is because he's a bit of a developmental player, and I want to talk about them needing to train him up. But go to size. He's big. I forget.
That's a
exactly
great reason, honestly. If we're being honest, that's a great reason.
This is an elite name.
27.
Yeah, 5. I mean, he's a tank.
Yeah,
he's just, and I mean, you read what it says there. That's basically. And I forgot about this. He can catch a little bit too. He can catch the ball a little bit. So
this seems like a really good third back that complements what we already have in the room as well.
Yeah, he's a fun, weird player. Like, you don't see a lot of guys with you put all the different pieces together, and could be interesting. Could be nothing. He could be a bust, but he could be interesting.
Well, you're drafting at 212. Nikhil mentioned that Chip was at OSU with Travion Henderson, so that's kind of interesting too.
That's right.
So I like that. Oh, let's do train him. I like that.
Yeah, I'm in. And then just the one final pick here in the mock. Let's see. I mean, if we want to, let's start at quarterback. They brought in, who did they bring in?
Jalen Daniels. They brought in
Daniels and Baron Morris, and they've met with Morton, King too.
Yeah.
Jalen Daniels, just on a personal level, I had a lot of fun watching Jalen Daniels in college. I always kind of tried to put Kansas on whenever they were in a window, if they were playing a decent team. Mobile, but keeps his eyes up, stays a passer, a competitor, dog, clearly a leader. His teammates gravitate towards him. The turnover number is high. It's very high. And he's dealt with some injuries in his career, was able to stay healthy the last 2 years. He is undersized. The other guy, I do like Morton too. The wild thing about Morton is he played 2 years with a sprained AC joint in his throwing shoulder. And then he gets a surgery going into last year, comes back, and early in the year suffers a hairline fracture in his plant leg and then plays through that. So I like some of what I see. I'm worried about the arm strength. But if he's been playing through a bum shoulder and a bum plant leg, is his arm actually better than what we're seeing? And maybe we're just missing it. So, like, there's more upside there, I think, than maybe meets the eye.
I'd also note with Morton, looks like Morton's just throwing the ball a lot more, significantly more attempts than Jalen Daniels. And I think that can mean something.
Yeah. Well, he played through. Daniels missed some time with injuries the first 4 years of his career. Morton, as I just said, like he plays through things. He might have missed a game or two here or there. I think he missed a game last year because was he the one who broke his thumb, or was that their other quarterback? But like, he had to get some procedure done. But then he was back the next week. The dude just played. Like he's a baller.
Yeah.
So I think Vrabel would love that.
I mean, they're both like intense, tough competitors. But yeah, let's go Morton.
All right.
I also feel like Morton's more likely to be drafted. Daniels, because of his size, is probably UDFA.
No, Matt already did it. So in my last year, in my final mock before the Patriots drafted, I wanted them to take who the hell was the 5'10" guard last year?
He ended up
from William and Mary. What the hell is his name?
I know what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? But anyways, I wanted the Patriots to draft him, but they also needed something else. So I had them trade back in the 7th round. Lampkin. Yes. Thank you, Matt. Willie Lampkin. I had them trade back in the 7th round.
That wasn't Will and Mary. That was UNC. That was Drake May Center.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't Lampkin that I wanted them to draft. It was
2 years ago. Yeah,
no, it was the kid from William and Mary, though, and I can't remember his name. It wasn't the super small guy. It was the kid from William and Mary anyway, it doesn't matter. I wanted them to draft him, but I'm like, all right, I need something else. So I had them trade a 7th round pick for 2 7th round picks, like 2 later 7th round picks. And I was like, this is no way they would ever do that, but like, this is fun. And then they did it in the draft and traded the 7th round pick for 2 7th round picks so they could draft Ashby and Kobe Minor. So I was like, oh, maybe we could do that and then draft our punter because, I figure we're on with Alex Barth. We didn't draft a punter. But what are you going to do?
I mean, I could see them going to UDFA and having a competition, and then maybe the punter draft pick is next year if Behringer doesn't bounce back.
Yeah. All right, let's you want to recap it real quick, Matt?
Yeah. Trade back out of 31, get an extra pick from the Raiders, take Max Ianacho at 36, Keelan Rutledge, the guard from Georgia Tech, at 63, and then trade up in the 3rd round to get Kieran Crawford. You get Oscar Delp, VJ Payne in the 4th, Jimmy Rolder in the 5th, Devin Marshall, Albert Regis, Logan Taylor, and Chip Trainum in the 6th, and wrap it up with Baron Morton in the 7th round. Did they give this one
I
a
like it.
grade? Where's the
No, because we use the
the consensus board? Yeah.
we use the consensus board. Yep.
But yeah, that's how that one plays out.
There you
Nice.
go.
Yeah, I think we did good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yep. I like it. Looks good. So that's it. That's all we got, everyone. Alex, thanks so much for coming through, man. We really appreciate it. Before you go, plug what's going on. I know you said you're going to be on Felger Mass tomorrow, 2 to 4. Is that the big board show, or what are you guys doing?
So we'll do the big board during that, but I'm just going to be on with them. We will also catch 22 coming up on Wednesday, and a ton of stuff on 98.5thesportshub.com.
There you go. Love it. Also, Matt Thomas Perry, the Middlebury guard. That's the guy that I wanted him to draft from Middlebury, Connecticut, I believe. So, but
shout out.
Nevertheless, there you go. Thank you, Matt, for doing that. Appreciate it. So, anyways, yes, we're super excited about it, Matt. Everyone go on and watch him or listen to him, either way, however you consume that stuff. And of course, check out the All 22, the Catch 22 podcast with him and Lazar multiple times a week. Is it not?
No, just on Wednesdays.
Just on Wednesdays. Okay. All right. Do that. And like I love the call and stuff. That's so cool. I love it. So, but anyways, well, thanks so much for coming on. Thanks for the chat as always for coming through for us. And we'll see you guys Thursday night. Be good to each other and go Pats.